Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. We are going to be doing a June reading recap. So, for the month of June, I read 9 books, which is chef's kiss. I thought it was 10, but I finished one book June 1st, so it doesn't really count, does it? I read 2 thrillers, 2 fantasies, 2 romances, and 2 urban fiction, contemporary fictions. So let's get to it. We're not going to talk too much. I'm gonna try my best not to yap too much about these books. So the first book I read was The Ballad of Fallen Dragons by Sarah A. Parker. This is book 2 to the Moonfall series. The first book was When the Moon Hatched, and I read that last year. Loved it. 5 stars. Read this one in June. Loved it. 5 stars automatically. This is like a beautiful, look at this. Look at this. Look at the sprayed edges. So in this book, we are primarily following Rave and Khan and their journey to basically more so Rave's journey so she can finally get vengeance. She can get her revenge on the character from the first book that we remember. I don't want to have any spoilers, but we know in the first book that she was seeking, or she was looking to find this one particular person so she can get her vengeance. And she's still looking for that vengeance, but she has now, and she's just avoiding this deep, dark past of hers. Like, she's still trying to remember bits and pieces of her past. Well, she wants to remember bits and pieces of her past, but she's also at the same time avoiding it. She is constantly fighting the urge to really face her inner demons and face her battles. And we have Khan, who is trying to save his kingdom or save his nation or whatever, his people, while also trying to save Rave from all her inner demons that she's battling against. The other perspectives that we meet, there's also a POV from Khan's sister. There's a POV from this other man named Grimm, which I don't really remember where he's from or why he's even. Oh, actually, I remember why Grimm. My friend explained it to me. And we have this one guy, Pyrock. I hated his narration in the audiobook. I did this primarily in audio and I couldn't stand his narration. I couldn't stand his voice. Loved everybody else's, but Pyrock definitely couldn't stand it. But the stakes are a lot higher in this book. I mean, there's just so much on the line. And it has a really, when the ending, I was like, I need book 3 now. I need it right now, Sarah. Don't I hope you're already working on it, and you know what, take your time, but don't take your time, if you catch what I'm putting down. But yeah, this book, it was just full of action. It was full of love, lust, angst. It was full of drama. It was just full of all the emotional ups and downs that you would expect from a fantasy book. So I really, really enjoyed it. 5 stars. The next book I read was Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was the first book that I've read by this author, and you know what? 5 stars. I loved this book. I did this on audio, and I did have the physical book. My friend lent it to me, and I gave it back to her already. But it was, at first I thought this was something about space, and I was just like, oh, here we go, another like sci-fi kind of book. But it really is a love story that just happens to have space as a subplot. But you're following 2 female astronauts, or they work for NASA. They want to work for NASA, and this takes place back in the 70s, I believe. And during that time, we all know that female astronauts, they just weren't a thing. So we just follow 2 female characters. We have the point of view from Joan and from Vanessa, I believe the other character, the POV was. And we just follow their POVs and their journey into becoming the first female astronauts, or one of the first female astronauts to now go to space. And we are also following this love story between them. Hopefully that wasn't a spoiler, but it was just about grief and loss, and just also finding their identity, finding out who it is that they want to be, who they've always been, but were afraid to admit it to themselves. So it really was a heart-wrenching love story. It was sad, but it was also great, if that makes any sense. I'm probably not making any sense. I probably suck at this, but hey, that's it. It's fine. It's fine. So Atmosphere, Definitely, if it's on your TBR, get to it. If it's not, put it on and get to it. Next book I read was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I mean, I have the 25th anniversary edition of the book. Oh, I have it right here. I have the paperback 25th anniversary of this book, and I can't believe it's been 25 years or more than 25 years now, because I bought this last year. But it's been over 25 years since Harry Potter came out, and I remember reading this when I was a kid in school. It was just the thing to be reading, and I loved it, and I was even more excited when the movies started coming out. I didn't read all the books, but I do have all the books, and I'm going to make my way through them. That's going to be one of my goals this year, is to make my way through all the Harry Potter books. But I started off with this one, and of course I don't remember everything from it from when I was a child, and as any book to movie adaptation, there's a lot of things that are left out. I was reading this and I was like, oh, this wasn't part of the movie. It was just like, oh, okay, I can see why they left this part out, or I would have enjoyed if they had put this part in the movie. Nonetheless, I enjoyed it. I did audiobook on this as well too. Very, very great audio narration. The narrator, he actually sound like Hagrid. I'm like, is this Hagrid? Hagrid, that's you? But again, we all know Harry Potter, and if you don't, what rock have you been living under? Get up out from under the rock and get yourself onto Harry Potter. You are never too old to get into Harry Potter. I actually think I want to gift this to my goddaughter, or maybe buy her a set, because I love this. This is so nostalgic for me, and I would love if she were to get into Harry Potter and we can watch Harry Potter together. Oh my God, yes. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get her Harry Potter once my book buying ban is over. I'm on a book buying ban. I'm doing a 75 book challenge. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram if you're not already. This is my handle. But yeah, I'm doing a 75 book challenge, and part of that challenge is to be on a book buying ban. I've been doing great on that end. Everything else, we won't talk about that. Next, I read 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, and I loved this book. I rated it 4 stars. So we follow Eva and Shane, and we go back, we're doing dual timelines. We go back to when they were in high school and they met each other, and they spent 7 days together in June back in high school. And they had this whirlwind of a love story with just in 7 days, like literally awake. Literally. And something happened and they lost contact, and now it's about like 15 years later, and they have become authors. They're both kind of writing about each other in their books, but not really making it known to the public that they're writing about each other. They're like these famous authors and whatnot, and they just reconnect, and it was great. I loved it. We have second chance romance in this. There's also a single mom trope in this. And I love the daughter. I really, really love the daughter, Audrey. She was just so, I think she was like a 12-year-old daughter, but she was just about it. She was very highly intelligent, very on top of everything. And she just knew it was way too smart for her own good. I loved it. I loved it. If you have this on your TBR, like I said, with all the other books, get to it. If it's not, put it on your TBR and get to it. The next book I read was Judge Stone by Viola Davis and James Patterson. I did this one on audio, and this was a book club pick for my neighborhood book club. If I didn't tell you guys, I started a book club in my neighborhood. I'm so excited. It's fairly small, but we're slowly getting there. But yeah, we're slowly getting there. We're getting more and more people with each meeting. So we're about to have, this was our second book, and we're about to have, Anyway, I digress. But Judge Stone was the book that we read, and I really enjoyed this. I did audio primarily on this one, and Viola Davis was the narrator for this book. So it follows Judge Stone, and it's set in Alabama, and she is not only a fair judge, but she's also one of the, I don't want to say most disliked, but because she's a woman and she's a Black woman on top of that, with the misogyny that goes on, and racism, very, very prevalent during this time. And also it highlights things that are pretty prevalent right now that we are dealing with, not only racism, but also with women's rights and all this other stuff. So it follows where she's now the judge for this controversial case, and it really affects her in many ways. Not only does it affect her, but it affects the community as well. And racism plays a big part in it. Bigotry, misogyny, all of this is definitely touched in the book. But Judge Stone faces this hard decision that she has to make. Not only will it change and affect one person's life, but it also will affect the community. So in this particular case, it hits her hard. She just goes through a lot. It affects her in so many different ways, and the stakes are extremely, extremely high. But I really enjoyed it. As I was listening to the audio and listening to Viola Davis narrate this, I just kept seeing Annalise Keating. I swear, I just kept seeing Annalise Keating with that walk, and I had a good time. I loved How to Get Away with Murder. This was it was bringing me back to How to Get Away with Murder days when I was binge watching it, and I low-key want to binge watch it again. So I need to go find out what platforms it's on. But anyway, Judge Stone, I gave it 4 stars and it really, really loved it. The next 3 books I read were by Jacquel J. Capodanno 1, 2, and 2.5. 2.5 is like a little novella in between 2.5 and 3. But this one is urban fiction, contemporary fiction, and we are back in the Delgado Brothers series. If y'all know anything about them Delgado brothers, get you one. I want one. But we're following now Cappadonna. If you read Capone, Cappadonna is Capone's twin brother who was now released from jail. Hopefully that wasn't a spoiler, but I think it says it in the back of the synopsis. But yeah, Cappadonna is now released from jail and he's now trying to find his footing, now being a free man. Even though he was kind of pulling strings where he was in jail, like he still was well known and respected. Now that he's home, things are a little different. And he's just trying to find his footing and also reestablish like, I'm out. Whatever little game y'all thought y'all was playing, whatever things that my brother Capone let y'all get away with, it's not happening. It's not happening. And also, we follow his journey to finding love. And it was such a sweet and nice, like I found myself like all giggly and whatnot. I found myself all giggly and blushing. I was just like, ooh, I want me a Cappadonna. I want me a Cappadonna. Again, I enjoyed these books. Were they life-changing? No, but they were fun. I think I rated them 3.5 to 5 stars altogether for all 3 of them. So they're just fun books to get into. There's 2 more books in the Delgado Brothers series, and I think I'll be done with Delgado, and then I'll be moving on to Capri. So again, I'm going to be continuing this series, and I would like to get to all of Jacquel J's catalog or backlist. I don't know if I'm gonna get to it this year because that backlist is long. Baby girl been working. And lastly, I read When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I read her other books that were historical fictions. I didn't realize that she also wrote thriller books. So I decided, let's give this a try. But we follow, this takes place in Brooklyn, New York. And I think it's during current season. And we are following this young lady named Sydney, who is living in a brownstone area, which was primarily, her neighborhood was primarily Black, but now we're in the season of where white people are coming in, and we are now looking at gentrification, and they are just trying to gentrify that area. I mean, they are just buying these houses left and right, but they're shady as hell about it. They are shady as hell. And the other main character or love interest, I guess you can say, he's a white man. And she looking at him like, you part of the problem too. What you come and try to be friendly with me? We are not friends. But they are now uncovering all of the shady business that's going on with how these houses are being acquired so quickly by these white people. And where do Black folks go? Where did the previous owners go? What happened to them? People are just dropping and disappearing left and right, and all these white people coming in and moving into my town and trying to buy my house? No, ma'am. So I did enjoy this. This was a good thriller, and I rated it 3 stars or 3.5 stars. So this was just a nice palate cleanser in between all the other books that I was reading. So that's it for the month of June. I think I had a pretty good reading month. I had a 5-star book. I had 2 5-star books, right? I had 2 5-star. I think I had 3. I had 2 or 3. Y'all see it on the screen, but it was a really good reading month for June. And I already posted my July TBR, so hopefully I stick to it because these weren't all the books that was on my June TBR. I did not get to 1 or 2 of the books that I had on there, but that's fine. You know, TBR is just a guide. I don't have to stick to it. I make these rules. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, please give me a like, subscribe, comment, do all the things y'all know how to do. But yes, keep watching. Stay tuned for some more videos from me. I will be doing reading vlogs for all the other books that I'm reading. And so thank you for watching and have a good day. Bye.